Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Wednesday, and it's time for another episode of Street News Now, the Noon Report. And we got a special report for you today. So, y'all don't go nowhere, stick around. We're going to address a previous broadcast that I have made. And I got an expert on the air that's going to talk about it a little bit. Okay. Well, as always, the first thing I want to do is give a shout out to my mentor, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And out of the 30 plus years that we have been traveling together, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to him and his family. So, one of the things that I like to do when I talk about my mentor is encourage you to get a mentor so you can understand the value of having a mentor, somebody that can help you navigate through life, through all of the circumstances and situations that life can present. So that being said, get a mentor and then get a show so you can shout your mentor out. So many of you know that I broadcast on many different networks and I have different shows, different days of the week. So a couple of weeks ago, on my From the Desk of Dr. Ron show, I had did a show about the stock market got ripped off. And I got a lot of feedback on that. Everybody was asking me, what you mean by that? How the stock market get ripped off? Well, you know, and my response to them at the time was that you need to learn some more about the stock market. So therefore you can, really understand how those type of things are possible. So today I have an expert. I don't know if he wants to be called an expert or not, but welcome to the show, my brother, my friend, a mentor, a person that can answer that question: how the stock market got ripped off. So, welcome to the show for the very first time, Mr. Norman H. Welcome to the show, sir.
How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. So man, how is it possible for the stock market to get ripped off?
Well, let me start by saying this. Just because people are rich or you could be rich don't make you smart. That's number one. In the world, there are over 3,000 billionaires in the world, and 900 of them are in the US. And then of the millionaires, there's 59 millionaires in the world, and I think it's 22 in America. These people who make their money to become millionaires, we don't know. They could be real estate gurus, anything, anything to get this money. Big corporate owners doesn't necessarily mean they keep their money over in the business that they're in. They all dabble. Just like if you had $10 million, you might decide to go buy a business, but know absolutely nothing about it. But the report of the business says, "Hey, we doing 2 million a year." You may want to buy into that, but that don't make you smart or an expert in that business. So we could start by saying there is such a thing as dumb money.
Dumb
So
money.
when you have dumb money, when you have dumb money in the market, it's just people who don't understand the business, and I'm not really calling everyone dumb who don't understand. It's that you have to get to understand the business. So by being ripped off, just to get to the point, there is such a thing called a margin grab. And with a margin grab, that means these are the people who bought stock on credit as opposed to with straight cash. So there's companies in the world like Citadel and any other company who owns what 30 million, 33 billion shares of Apple. They're not there they're not buying those shares in that company, whether it's Apple, Microsoft, whatever, Amazon, Netflix. They're not trying to trade that. They're trying to hold on to, let's say, Apple, or because they believe that 30 years from now, this $300 stock company is going to go from selling computers and cell phones and software to flying cars. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So they hold their positions for different reasons, and everyone doesn't sell their stocks at the same time. Some people hold them to make money. So when you have all this money tied up in the stock market and you didn't buy it with straight cash, that margin is going to get called. And that's what can happen to these companies. So that's a robbery, in so many words, by saying, listen, you bought all your shares up here on credit, and now all of a sudden, here comes this market crash that we ain't seen since COVID. And if you ever knew the math on that, there was I think it was a $800 billion margin grab on COVID, which means all they did was make your stock that you were holding way up here fall and fall and fall and fall until you finally get forced out of your position. That's how it's a robbery. I'm gonna make you leave sooner than you want to leave because of the fear of uncertainty that could happen in the world, for that matter. So whether it's a snowball fight between Agent Orange in the White House or in China, we don't know. We don't know
Call him
anything.
Agent Orange. I call him
Oh,
Orange Haired Orangutan.
it's all business. And
Right.
that's what a lot of people understand. It's still a business. Trading the
Right.
market is still a business. And there is no business in the world that always makes money.
Yeah.
None.
Now, when I was pretty much speaking about the ripoff, I know that on that day that he suspended a 90-day tariff, you
Hmm.
know, and all the tariffs that he put in place like the week before, two
Right.
weeks before, then all of a sudden, Congress members and his cabinet all knew that because of the release of the tariffs that were on certain countries, that day the market took a giant leap forward. Everything
Yeah.
that they bought low, they was able to hold on to it until it ran up. And that to me was a ripoff. They knew they had insider trading information, and they were able to grab hold of something or a bunch of somethings and then hold on to it and then let it go because they know that the next day everything was going to go back to where it was on the low. So to me, that was ripoff. Went out to me, that wasn't a bad thing because I'm a petty thief. I steal anyway. You know,
Well, think about what you're really saying. So,
yes, sir.
what I think Warren Buffett says it, and anybody else who understand business, I think he says it when there's blood on the street, buy.
Right,
You're supposed to buy when something is cheap,
right,
right?
right. That's right.
So, as far as that's concerned, when the market crashes, that's when you should be buying, but everybody's afraid. I got clients right now, Norman, why should I be buying when the market's going down? It's business.
Right,
You don't go to Walmart and buy a television and all your food and groceries, and then they give you the bill, and you turn around and say, hey, I want to put another $300 on that. Is that okay?
mm-hmm.
They're going to say, sure, we'll take that extra money. They ain't
Right,
even going to know how to handle you.
right,
So, from a business perspective, you have to understand that traders who understand the game understand how to do business, how to look at business. And I just had this conversation with someone today. Everybody may go to a business class and business school, but guess what? In this game and in this business, it's hard for people to wrap their minds around buying something that's falling in value to them.
right. Yeah,
But I'm sorry, but to the point of politicians, there's plenty websites out there that you can go find out and see what, think about it. Nancy Pelosi's her annual salary is $200,000 as Speaker of the House back in the day, right? Till she
Right.
retired.
Right.
But why is she worth over $200 million when her salary ain't but 200,000? Because they're out there buying stocks. Yeah, they may be privy to some extra news that you may not be privy to, but hey, that's what a lobby is for. So if you pay attention to who's lobbying for what pharmaceutical company or this new what they call it, the jab virus, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there's money in there. Pfizer was dirt cheap, and I say dirt ass cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Moderna was going out of business before COVID came. Next thing you know, they number one selling drug.
Yeah.
Hey, understand how to play the game.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about you for a second. Now, you are an instructor. You teach classes. You help people understand some of the things that you just mentioned. If you don't have a knowledge of the stock market or you don't have a knowledge of forex market, you would be a person that can help educate people understand what the heck is going on for a fee, of course,
Of course.
because you have classes that you teach people. And if you follow me on some of my other networks, I'm finna go out on a limb now. I'm a shameless plug. We have a promotion going on the Ask Dr. Ron show that if you reach out to Norman, you get 4 free classes. So I'm gonna let him straighten that out.
So one of the things you forgot to say is I, like many traders who started in this business, I bumped my head for a long time.
Hmm.
I didn't, there is no such thing as a natural born trader. No such thing. We all go through the growing pains of learning how to do this business, but psychology is important, but some people use it as a crutch. Um, but I teach people based on my experience and what I've learned. So of the 4 classes, rather 4 hours I give, you got me saying that crazy stuff now.
I got him, y'all.
I give 4 free hours to anybody that wants to talk to me about the market. So there's your chance to ask anything, and I'll tell you everything I can before you even just attempt to want to take a class from me. But of my classes, there's a basic class. That's just me showing you how to work that thing on the screen behind me. It's like learning how to drive a car. That's that. After that, then you learn the science of the business when you get into the advanced class with me. Now I'm teaching you a little bit of the science of trading. You take the professional class. Then I'm going to teach you the business of what's going on in the back room when you're looking at these screens. Like, why did the market stop here? Why did it go up there and stop? I can show you how to understand that. That can help you turn your information. Because a lot of people say knowledge is power. I disagree. I say information is power. We all know how to plant some grass by throwing grass seed down. But if we ain't finna turn it into no business, it does us no good.
Hmm. Absolutely. Now, I have been blessed and honored to have Norman as a mentor. I mentioned early on in the conversation that I've identified myself as a petty thief. So when I say that, I mean that, on any given day, I can go into the market. I can see something that I recognize that will throw me, $50, $100. I'm gonna snatch that $50, $100 and get out of there. Okay.
Right.
That's what I
Right.
call myself, a petty thief. And it's so funny. I've been saying enough that another one of his students have adapted that mentality. She goes in and steal thousands of dollars and get out of there. It's so
Right.
interesting that that mentality has spread because you can truly, get caught up in this thing and get turned out, truly
Right.
turned out.
Right.
Uh-oh. Miss Yvonne Gray just popped in. Hey Yvonne, how you doing? She says hi guys. But I just
Tell
want,
Yvonne.
people to know that you can establish a relationship with Norman, get into his classes, and begin to establish, whatever you want. If you want family wealth, if you want, just to have something to do instead of going to casino and gambling, you can get
Mhm.
on the stock market right at your house and gamble if that's what you like doing. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, but if you want to make a business out of it, then he can teach you because he started out talking about a business. And I
Right.
think that this is a golden opportunity if you don't know, to try and find out. So if they want to reach out to you, your website is princehunterfinancialgroup.com.
You can do that one or princehunter.com.
Okay. And then they can make an appointment. Are we going to extend the
Uh,
four hours to anybody
yeah,
that reaches
yeah,
out to you?
yeah. Anybody that calls me or goes to the site, 4 free hours to talk to me, you can use them all at one time in a day, one every hour, every day for 4 days, or 2 days with 2 hours. It's up to you. You don't have to use them all at one time. Plenty of people have. And just go from there.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna say this. When you learn something new, it's exciting. It's very exciting, to be able, and then if you can make money doing it, it's even more exciting. So especially in this day and age when the stock market is so roller coasterish, I guess you could say,
Hmm.
course correction, crashing one day, going up a little bit the next day. But I heard somebody say on the national news, it's just doing what the stock market do, you know?
That's true to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Market only move three ways: up, down, and sideways. The
Uh-huh.
difference between this first quarter of the year versus 5 years ago, or let's not even use that because we hitting COVID, but let's go 10 years ago. The
Mm-hmm.
average range on a day couldn't been no more than maybe 50 points in a day. Now, if you look at the first quarter of the year, 2 weeks ago, we were having 500-point ranges top to bottom every couple of days. And then sometimes I've seen trades that I was in 100 points in 1 minute, 150 points in 1 minute. It's all kind of money out there, but that's the thing where people they see that, they hear that, and they think it's time to buy and sell stuff. And that kind of move will bring in the dumb money who think they
Yeah.
can just come in and walk away with a big package, a big bag, and never have to really have an education. Because so many people that I talk to, I'm gonna start a bit. No, they don't say I'm gonna start a business. They say I'm gonna start trading. Trading is a phenomenon now, only because information is at everybody's fingertips. Nobody was
ab-
interested in this 30 years ago when I started. It was tough.
Right.
When I started trading, the S&P had only been around for a year. The E-mini S&P didn't come out to 1995.
Mm,
I started
absolutely.
in 96, so I've been doing this almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And I bumped my head along the way, and I've learned a lot, and I learned a lot of lessons. So as the saying goes, when you see a fool, you bump his head. I was
Yeah.
that fool because I thought I could come in here and get paid and never have to learn anything, but that it don't work that way.
Yeah. Right quick, Yvonne said, take advantage of the 4 hours. It is truly worth it. Thank you, Yvonne, for that comment.
Thank you,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Yeah. Now, this is not our show. This is only a news brief, and you're a special guest today. Once again, where can they find you?
You can find me at princehunter.com. I'm even gonna give my phone number out because I ain't never done
Uh-oh.
that on your show before. So I'm gonna see how many people fight this hook. So
Okay.
708-552-3223 is how you can get a hold of me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the first. He don't like to tell you. He don't like to be identified. First of all, he's anonymous because he don't like them what they call them spam calls coming in. But I
Yeah.
don't blame him. A lot of people don't like them. But I just want to say thank you for coming in, and helping people understand, what's
Hmm.
going on. We're in a really topsy turvy stock market type situation. Real quick, is the forex market the same way? Have you been monitoring that? Is the forex market just as crazy as the
I mean,
stock
not
market?
not. I haven't really been monitoring it, but you from a trader's perspective, I'll say it's crazy on this level.
Mm-hmm.
When you trading currency pairs or currency, your opponent, instead of an institution in New York or in London or the UK somewhere, your opponent is an entire country. You're trading against people who are trading their country's money, a government. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit different. Regular people who on the sell side, I don't want to say regular because they're not regular people on the sell side, but bottom line is the country has its own people trading their money to move it around up and down.
Right.
So it's a bigger opponent, which makes it much tougher. But to the people who are on the show, because I know you told me you would probably send this out to some people who wants to start a business. This
Mm-hmm.
is about the best business you can get in. It's very tough. It's not easy. It's very simple though. But from an emotional perspective, I tell people this business will teach you who you are.
Right.
If you think you got discipline and you don't, it's going to show up. If you think you got patience and you don't, it's going to show up. If you think you know what's going on, I tell you, market don't give a crap about what you think. So
Mm-hmm.
get the
That's true.
money, move on. And,
Absolutely.
and another thing, just like anything else in the world, your what's the word I'm looking for? Your pay is directly related to your skill level. So I know people who good at making $100 in 30 seconds, but they won't do it 5 times a day. They want the $3,000 days. And next thing you know, it turns over and they blow up. So you have to
Yeah.
know where your lane is.
Yeah. Be a thief and get on out of there. That's
Right.
my best advice to get them. So thank you, Norman, for dropping in, sharing a few gold nuggets with us today. Also, I'm a shameless plug you. I know that you've got books and training manuals that are available. You know, people get involved with you. You know, they can
Right.
go to the level where they can get material or create their own trading manuals from what you teach them. See,
Yeah, I'm
that's
taking
the
notes
gold
of
nugget right there.
it. So that's very important.
Yeah, yep. So look, man, peace and love. We're gonna get out of here. You stay strong.
For
I'll
sure.
talk to you a little bit later. Now, Norman, once again, one of the most passionate people about this. So you want to reach out to him. He gave you his phone number. You want to definitely reach out to him and find out how you can get in one of his classes because he's got limited space. So that being said, I want you guys, if you're interested in joining the Street News Now family, reach out to us. Go over to streetnewsnow.com. When you get over there, fill out the form and someone will get back in touch with you to help you begin the process of starting your broadcast right here on the Street News Now network. And while you're here, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Please do it, you know, because, hey, we can only grow and if you help us grow. And we keep it real over here. This ain't no fake news, y'all. This is where we keep it real at. So that being said, I appreciate you all dropping in for a moment. Share the clip. Tell somebody what's going on over here. And this is a real place. This ain't no fake place. This is a real place. So I love you guys. Look forward to seeing you guys again real soon. So stay blessed, and I'll talk to you guys soon.